Hi guys, it's Synolve. How you guys doing? Sure hope you are doing well. Well, welcome to my channel. I am so glad you're here and I am excited, so excited today. President Ibrahim Traore has gone to Russia. Yes, he has gone to Russia. They sent a private plane for him. President Putin sent a private plane for him and made sure that he got to Russia safely. Of course, his entourage, his ministers were there with him. It was just an amazing, amazing, beautiful sight to see Ibrahim Traore treated like President Captain Ibrahim Traore from Burkina Faso, treated like royalty, treated and received like a king, the king that he is. He's, of course, one of the three kings of Sahel, and I could not be more prouder. I am just really proud of this young man. As of course, you know, I always say one of his aunties over in the West, his aunties, his uncles, his family over here in the West. You know, that's what we call ourselves. We are just so proud of him. And so Vladimir Putin invited Captain Traore over for the occasion of the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. And so we learned so much by listening to this amazing exchange between the two leaders. Of course, he invited him into a private conference room, an executive conference room within the palace, and they sat and they were able to talk. They discussed a lot of good things.
Mr. President, friends, we are very glad to see you. And first of all, I would like to thank you once again for making this decision to participate in the commemorative events to honor the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War. I remember our constructive and useful conversation back in 2023 when you visited our country for the first time to participate in the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg. This time, your visit to Russia to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the victory is a great symbol, and it reflects the friendly character of relations between Burkina Faso and Russia. And I would like to mention your contribution, your country's contribution to defeating German Nazism and its allies. Some 30,000 Burkinabe fought with the anti-Hitler coalition forces under the guidance, under the leadership of legendary Frenchman Charles de Gaulle. And now we are united by our joint goal to fight against terrorism and extremism, and we will continue to support the Republic and restoring constitutional and lawful order, to fight against unlawful factions that are still operating in some parts of Burkina Faso. In recent years, we have accomplished great progress in mutually beneficial cooperation in various fields. In the end of 2023, after more than 30 years of hiatus, the embassy of Russia in Ouagadougou was turned operational again. And the economic operation is also important, even if trade is modest. It's growing, which is a good trend, and we need to preserve it. And we will continue to work together on further strengthening our economic ties and diversify further our trade cooperations. And it was useful to hold economic days of Burkina Faso in Russia that were held in 2024. And it was attended by the high-level Burkinabe delegation led by the Deputy Prime Minister, and we are working now on establishing intergovernmental commission. We have already established a working group to look into that matter, and we will continue to support your country in training personnel in 2024 and in 2025. The quota of Russian state scholarship for Burkinabe nationals was more than doubled, and this year we are ready to receive 27 more students from your country at the state's expense, and in total, more than 3,500 Burkinabe received higher education in Russia. Cultural and humanitarian ties also play an important part, and it is assisted by the Russian house that is operating in Ouagadougou since 2024. In particular, they are teaching Russian language there. There is a great potential in cooperation in the field of healthcare and sanitary regulations. Recently, on April 24-25, Madam Popova visited Ouagadougou and discussed the development of scientific and research infrastructure and training of personnel. We also prioritize humanitarian support for Burkina Faso. Last year, we allocated 25,000 tons of wheat free of charge, and this month we are going to send a large supply of other food products to Ouagadougou. We appreciate the support from Burkina Faso and many international platforms, including the UN and other multilateral platforms. A useful format of cooperation is the consultations between Russia and Sahel States Confederation. April this year, such a session was held in Moscow with foreign ministers. There are good prospects in many areas, and we will have a chance to discuss some of them today. Thank you for your attention.
This was a very profitable, very prosperous meeting, I think. I think they got a lot of accomplished. There was Vladimir Putin, of course, shared some of the things that he wanted to see happen. He reported, of course, on some of the things that they had done. They've now educated over 100 students in Russia, and we're going to accept more. They had given some food supplies and other things. There's just a lot going on in this very diplomatic session. And he had these, Putin had these amazing meetings with the leaders who had been invited to come to this celebration. And we learned so much. We learned about Russia's involvement in this great war of liberating communism, of ending communism in that fascist regime. And so that was really interesting to learn about. Now let's listen to some more, because we're going to hear President Traore speak, and he's going to tell some of the things that were important to him. And this is going to be interesting.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Mr. President. I hope I pronounced my felicitation properly. For me, it was an honor to be part of these commemorative events devoted to the great victory anniversary, and I would like to thank you for inviting us. It was a great honor for us. And I need to say that during this visit, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about culture, about history, that laid the foundation of the resistance of the Russian people, of its struggle. I learned of sacrifices your people made, and due to these sacrifices, we are free now. And I would like to thank you once again for this invitation, and this meeting allows us to think about what's happening in the world today and to think about the prospects as well. The obstacles that we can see today must not stop us. These obstacles, in some way, they are even an advantage, because despite all the sanctions that were imposed on the Russian Federation by many states, Russia is still holding the leading position internationally, and we understand this. We understand how difficult it is. And I watched the parade. I watched the soldiers marching in front of us during the parade. I saw the equipment, including the tanks that from the times of World War II, and I saw the modern equipment, and we would like to see the cooperation between our countries developing rapidly, developing swiftly, and acquire new shapes and forms. We thank you for your attitude towards Burkina Faso. Today I visited Mendeleev Institute, and we understand that apart from defense and security, there is another essential field, which is science and education, and we would like to see Russia assisting us in training and educating our youth to help us to develop our own industries, our own enterprises. Machinery, other types of manufacturing, because it's very important for Africa. We believe that terrorism that we can see today is a legacy of imperialism, and that's something that we fight against. If we put an end to this war, if we have a strong army, then we can develop our motherland. This is why we continue to fight. That is why we have this struggle. That's why it's important to train personnel, to educate people. In Africa, Africa needs a lot when it comes to equipment, when it comes to technology and machinery, and there are a lot of expectations in this regard. And that's why we still need to do a lot, we need to work a lot, and we would like to request an assistant, and the most important thing you can help with is this exchanges, transfers of technology, exchange of experience. We need to understand how we can use the experience and the know-how that Russian universities have, and how we can spread it to Burkina Faso, how we can open branches of the Russian universities and Burkina Faso to be more efficient in the way we educate our people, our citizens. This is the essential task that we are faced with. We would like to see Burkina Faso developing, and we would like to see students coming to us to learn various sciences. We can see great young people in the Russian Federation. Among them, there are a lot of researchers, young scientists, and we would like to learn from you. And another important area is military. We have a lot of projects in the field of defense.
So, President Traore, he is got his head on right. He shared some of the things that were very important to him. Training, military training, education, technology, expanding technologies. He wants to expand the Russian universities and schools into the into Burkina Faso. This is amazing. This is amazing. So his head, you see where his mind is. You see he wants to learn. He wants to know about equipment. This is like an emperor in training. This is very much a president in training. And of course, Putin has been in office for quite some time, has been the leader of Russia for quite some time. And so to hear this is pretty darn amazing, because we in the West often get all of our news from one source, and we don't get to see Russia, and we don't get to see Russia interacting or Putin interacting with other leaders. We've, here in the West, we've only really seen if a president has met with Putin. You only get clips of it, and so you don't get to see everything. You don't get to know. So this is really amazing that we're getting to see, the Kremlin is putting this out, and we're getting to see firsthand how Putin is interacting with other people and how other leaders, how Putin is interacting with other leaders, right? Especially African leaders, people who look like us, and how those leaders are in turn interacting with him. So I think it was pretty darn amazing for an official state event in Russia to be there. I felt like I was there. I felt like I was there. And I certainly learned a lot about diplomatic relations. Very diplomatic, very forthcoming with a lot of information from both sides, from Russia and Burkina Faso, and very respectful. So the thing I really, really was so proud of and just really amazed was how diplomatic Putin was. I mean, wow, just very complimentary. He complimented France. I mean, he was very complimentary, nothing derogatory, nothing negative at all. Who does that? The West cannot. They don't do that. They're all, they have this opportunity, this propensity to be negative and to talk down to people, to talk to them. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to take. This is how this is, going to work. Very patronizing. Yeah, none of that. I mean, Putin was very cordial, very nice, very friendly. Not the picture that we have gotten here in the West about at all about how Putin interacts or who Putin is, or it was eye-opening and very interesting, very enlightening. Very enlightening. I was impressed. I must say, I was impressed. And of course, Ibrahim Traore held himself very well. He held himself very well. He presented himself very well. He shared exactly what he wanted to share, and it was no fluff, no nonsense, in the sense that he shared real things that would help. The Saudi princess, I think, had offered mosque, and he said, no, we want education. And that's what he's still going through. I mean, he's straight, no chaser. He is a man on a mission. He is a man on a mission. Wow. Which is the name of my husband's YouTube channel, Milton Man on a Mission. But he and strong men are very important in always, right? But especially in the season, it takes a strong leader. And so we need more of that. We need more strong leaders who know what they want. Everywhere he goes, his message is the same. Education for my people. Training for my people. Oh my gosh. I mean, what more could you want in a leader that wants the best for his people and is willing to go the extra mile to get it? This is quite phenomenal. It's history in the making in our time, because now, as you see, Africans, wherever we are in the world, African Americans, Black foundational Black Americans, wherever we are in the world, Africans, as people in the diaspora, we have the right to be able to make our own choices, right? With who our friends will be, who we will work with, who we will partner with, and to see President Traore and Putin coming together, especially when there's been so much negative talk and about Putin, about Russia over the years, if you live in the West, and to see them coming together and showing a different picture, a different narrative of recent, we've seen some negative press coming out about Traore. And so, yeah, we've got so many good things that are happening, and they are breaking these stereotypes. They're breaking these narratives, and they are showing a different picture of what leadership can look like, about what diplomacy can look like, and about what it can look like when different partners come together, when you're not forced to be in the room with someone, but you're invited and you're welcomed and you are treated like a king. You're treated like royalty. You're treated like a divine guest. It's a pretty amazing thing to see, especially our people, right? Is to be welcomed, to be treated with respect, to be treated with honor, and to be treated with dignity. That is an amazing thing. All right, guys, this is Synolve. I'm going to sign off. Go ahead and comment below. I'd love to hear what you thought of this. What did you think of it? What did you think of this grand celebration, this meeting of these two leaders? It looks like they very much are like-minded. So please share in the comments what you thought about this meeting. And you know, if Russia calls you to go, would you go? I mean, if Russia calls you to, Putin calls you to come talk with them, what would you say? What would you ask for your people? Interesting, huh? Very interesting. Who knows what will happen? What will happen? Because it looks like Black America needs their own president. We gonna see. So, all right, guys. I love you guys so much. This is Synolve signing off. Salute, honor, and blessings, of course, to continued blessings to Captain Traore, and continued blessings to Captain Traore and to all of Burkina Faso, Burkina Faso. And of course, we bless you in the comments, those who watch us, and goodness and blessings, and thank you to Putin for his treatment of our people, of treatment of Burkina Faso, of our president, Ibrahim Traore. That is very commendable, sir, on your part. I've never met you, but it's very commendable on your part. And it's just very interesting and good to see that there are leaders who have integrity and who walk in diplomacy, right? And respect. So thank you, sir. All right, guys, you have an amazing evening, day, morning, noon, night, wherever you are. And this is again Synolve signing off, and I'm gonna see y'all in another video real soon. Bye-bye, guys.